Good evening here, you two people. What is going on with y'all today? Ha ha. It's Monday, the 22nd, and it's like 6:30 right now, and I'm just sitting here relaxing. You know, it's too cold to be sitting outside, so I decided to do another one inside. I wanted to come to you today about being evenly yoked when it comes to being married to somebody. Many people do not look into that before they actually get married. They think about it and say, well, I'm compatible with that person, so I'm just going to go for it. And honestly, it's not about that. Some people don't even look at compatibility. They look at the person, what they look like and stuff like that, and then they just go with it. But that never ends out being a good relationship, not at all. And so I got to thinking about that. I have some cousins and an auntie that they live in New York, and since I'm young, I can remember, especially my auntie always saying it, that if they come and visit with us, they don't want us to talk about religion or politics because they knew that we were totally different from them. And that would just become an argument. They would get heated or whatever and leave early or whatever. So it was always a thing that they wanted to make sure that we weren't going to make them feel uncomfortable on their trip down to Florida where I was living, or even to Georgia. They've come here also. They didn't want to be uncomfortable coming here to visit with us, so they would always say that. Well, politics and religion are two of the main things that you want to be evenly yoked with when it comes to a spouse, because you are going to put all of your time and effort into your significant other. And if they feel different than you in those two subjects especially, there are a few others, but mainly those two subjects, then it's not going to work out with you in the long run. My first wife, she was Catholic, okay? She very barely ever spoke on being Catholic, and when I was young and still dating her, we actually went to the Catholic Church like 2 or 3 times. So she was one of these Catholics that just, conveniently went like Christmas time or something like that, And I know quite a few of them that are like that they don't really put a lot of effort into what they believe in and what they don't believe in and things like that. They just, go with the flow, whatever. And politics also. So, in my country, we just have Republican or Democrat. There is an independent party, but very few people ever vote independent. So you don't really have that issue when it comes to like president. Jesse the Body Ventura, he was an independent when he went for Michigan, or what was it, Michigan or Minnesota, or one of those. Anyway, he was an independent and he got voted in as governor, but he was also a movie star, a wrestler, this, that, and the other thing. So he was very well known during that time, and that's why people voted for him during that time. But if I would have used those two things specifically when choosing a wife back during that time, I would never have married my ex-wife, because we were not evenly yoked. And even my second wife, I married her trying to help her out, okay? But it backfired on me, and she was not the person that she was shown to be. She was totally different than that. Even the preacher in my church looked her in the face and said that she was just running scams, basically. And it was all whatever. I'm not going to judge her. This is just what he said to her while I was there in the church. And, there were things that he did and said that I disagreed with. So, hey, he wasn't a perfect guy, and neither am I, and neither was she. I didn't have the ability to judge her over what he said. However, I felt what he said about her was spot on, but, I wasn't going to judge her for that. Nevertheless, if I went back on her also, I would never have married her. And there are other women, I guess you could call them, that are also that way. Some people actually make it look like they are that way, that they are just like you, and they're not, okay? So you have to look at a person in the way that, do they have the fruit? Because that is also mentioned. Are they bearing fruit on their tree? Because if they're not, they're just running a scam. They're just trying to get you to believe in them so that you'll make a decision on them. And I failed in those parts too. But then I went back on the whole Andy Griffith TV show. Out of all the main characters on the Andy Griffith show, nobody was married aside from Floyd the barber. All of the rest of them were single. And there were times that the whole question came up, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? But none of them would commit. I think it was like 12 years into that show that Andy finally married Helen, but they were even older. And, it took them a long time to say that they wanted to get married to one another. But that's what I'm saying. If you are unevenly yoked with somebody, because like I couldn't marry a woman that was Islamic. I couldn't marry a woman that was Hindu or Buddhist or even atheist. It would have to be a woman that has her feet firm in my Father's church and puts him first in their life. And also politics. I cannot call myself a Republican. I can't. But I'm definitely not a liberal Democrat. But we have a saying here, you vote over the lesser of the two evils. So I would go with the Republican, even if it just happens to be somebody that I disagree with how they think or whatever. But still, I would never go to the Democrat side. So, hey, are you a Democrat? Are you you know, a Muslim? Are you a Hindu? Are you a Buddhist? Are you an atheist? Are you even a Catholic? Because Catholicism is close to my belief system. However, it's not exactly the same thing. And you have to weigh those out, just like the Jehovah's Witnesses. They are different from me. Just like the Mormons, they are different from me. And, everybody wants to say that they're right about things. But when you have a personal relationship with my Father in the third heaven, you know it. You don't have to become a free agent and go to one of these associations. You just know that you're within the family of my Father. This is why we have 56, something like that, 1,000 different belief systems within my very own. But you don't have to believe that you're a Baptist, okay? Maybe you believe in baptism, but there's other things you should believe in also. And they kind of single out different things when you call them out, like the Methodist, Protestant, Presbyterian, just anything and everything. All of these fire churches that believe in getting the Holy Spirit and that. All of this exists within my Father's family. However, I practice all of them. And I'm just like that. Then you have non-denominational. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And you have people within certain organizations that say, well, I don't believe in this, but I believe in that. Well, what they're saying they don't believe in is in my Father's word. Why you don't believe in that? But it could be an argument for days and weeks and months and years because people just want to believe what they want to believe, and that's it. Even though it's written, they just go with whatever they think is right in their heart. Well, this, that, and the other thing, And so I went back into my situation in my past, okay? Digging up old bones. I have my ex-wife. Just like I said, Catholicism, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnessism, all of that, it's similar to what I believe. However, there are some differences, and they should be pointed out. And so I could never do any of those things. But I always would just lay down my shield and my sword and go ahead and accept that person as a spouse, and I should never have. And it was like that with my second wife is also. And this is why we were unevenly yoked and we divorced because of that. We had so many differences that it just wasn't even right. And then on top of that, both of the ex-wives that I had, they also grew up in a different country, and they learned different values and morals, and they had different belief systems even within those things. So I honestly would rather just go with somebody that already knows my country, knows what we do, knows what we stand for, and believes the way that I believe. That is totally evenly yoked, and that is what my Father's word says about it. It's not being against you. I can be your friend all day long. I can. But being with you, I just don't see myself doing that any longer. My total concept of that whole thing has just totally changed. I look at things different. I've always heard people say this to me, and I dared to be different. But people would always say, how do you chat and then fall in love with somebody that is 5, 6, 7, 8,000 miles away, and you don't even know what they're doing when you're not around, and you don't know that they actually even love you aside from them saying it. Anybody can say I love you. Anybody. Let me tell you something. When I tell you at the end of every single video that I make that I love you, I truly do. But you don't know me from Adam's horse cat. You don't know me from a can of paint. You don't. And so it would be up to you and your heart to actually know that I love you. But I do love you. But see, I know myself, and that's how I know I can say that. But anybody in a different country or something like that, you don't know that I'm telling you the truth or whatever. I just have the ability to love my enemies as I love myself. Okay? It's just how you're supposed to be. But a lot of people don't even think of that. They don't. And I'm not expecting everybody to believe every single word that I say. Not. But I just wanted to put that out there. Being evenly yoked is definitely a requirement. And it definitely is in my life. I don't want to go through a marriage being unevenly yoked to anybody. I want to be yoked with them. They have to be the closest to exactly what I believe in, what I do, what I am, who I am. And if you're not, I could be your friend forever and a day. But I just don't want to live with you. I don't want to even know you like that. I try, but I don't care to know anything when it comes to that. I just don't, because you're not here in my living room where I'm sitting right now. You're not over here. You have different morals and values and things like that. And hey, if they're good for you, hey, they're good for me too. But you just will not be welcomed into my life to come and live with me, to take part in dinner with me, to sit and intellectually speak with me, to worship with me, to even think that you could be anything but what you are right now. It's just not going to happen, okay? So this is why I can say, if you're not evenly yoked with myself, or if you're not evenly yoked with anybody that you're with now, unless you just throw your life away, you're just going to always be an unhappy person because you went and got married to somebody that you don't even know, And that's basically what it ends up being. You don't know them because you're not evenly yoked with them. They believe different than you, you believe different than them. So how can you communicate with them on that type of level? And It means everything to me now. Before, I sacrificed. But it didn't work out for me because I sacrificed, because I gave people the benefit of the doubt, because of this, and that. It just was not right with me. And I guess it'll never be right with me. So, but now I've changed. I've taken a totally different leap on that, and I never will go back on it again. Anyways, I want you to know, and I truly do, I love you. I love you right there. Love yourself. Love my Father God, and by all means love each other. People, until the next time, love, peace, and soul.